All right, let's get it. Tuesday, April 12th. I got one top NBA play. It's the NBA play-in. We had a great regular season with just a tick below 72%. We're going to continue to have success in the playoffs. Going to continue to have success in the upcoming NBA seasons. And shout out to you guys that have been tailing the plays. Those of you that have been messaging me on social media and tailing the plays. I appreciate you guys. We've been eating. And I know the platform is just going to keep growing and more people are going to join as they notice that we're having sustained success. So with that being said, I got a top play for today. We got the Minnesota Timberwolves hosting the Los Angeles Clippers. The Minnesota Timberwolves are -3.5 now. I put out an official play on Twitter, Minnesota -3 earlier. -3.5 should be fine, but I'm going official, Minnesota -3. There's several reasons why I like this play. The only reason why I wouldn't like this play, and let's just be transparent, we have respect at the highest level for Coach Lou. We got respect for Paul George, respect for Reggie Jackson, respect for the Morris brother. They just have a lot of professionals on that coaching staff and a lot of players on the court that are just real pros. They could be down a lot and they can make a comeback. They can be up a lot and they could blow the lead, but then they can hold it down late in games. Like they're just professionals who, the Clippers are just a bunch of real ones. They got a lot of real ones on the court, but one of the real ones that they lost was Patrick Beverley, and Patrick Beverley gives the Timberwolves an edge. Patrick Beverley keeps these guys playing competitive basketball, and when they get down on themselves, he's there to give them that mental boost and let them know, like, hey, Anthony Edwards, you're a dog. Like, Cat, you're a dog. Like, he doesn't let these guys get rattled. And even though it's their first game in this type of environment for a lot of these guys, Patrick Beverley is gonna hold them accountable and make sure that they come to play. So the Patrick Beverley factor is big in a game like this, especially going against his old team. I think he has some tricks up his sleeve going against the Clippers. The Timberwolves are a team that shoots a lot of three-pointers. They actually take and make the most three-pointers in the NBA. So when you have a team that's going to be shooting so many threes and they're at home and the guys are feeling good and there's no pressure, it's a home game and they're just letting them launch. They're letting it fly and they start making a couple. The crowd is going to get involved. The crowd's going to get excited. The Timberwolves play with so much pace and they're going to start to front run. I could see the Timberwolves front running in this game. I could see them winning this game very comfortably. The line is all over the Timberwolves. Vegas has been very hesitant to make the Timberwolves a favorite in this matchup. This team has played each other 4 times in the regular season, and it took a while before the Timberwolves became a favorite in this matchup. Vegas was very hesitant, and there's just a lot of line transparency. So the line is favoring the Timberwolves in this game. The Timberwolves are at home. The Timberwolves shoot a lot of three-pointers, make a lot of three-pointers. It's going to be a lot to deal with. Karl Anthony Towns versus Zubac. Zubac is a good offensive big. He's good finishing around the rim. But what does he have defensively for Cat? I just don't think he has enough, especially on the perimeter. It's going to be hard for him to move along with Cat. So I like the Timberwolves in this spot. All signs are pointing towards them. As we can see, the Los Angeles Clippers are 17-24 on the road, while the Timberwolves are 26-15 at home. So it's a big edge to the Timberwolves in that regard. And the Clippers, man, it's just asking for a lot. Paul George is a baller, and once again, these guys are professionals, but it's just asking for a lot for these guys to come into Minnesota and pull this game out, considering the fact that Paul George just came back, and like they're still getting into their rhythm and flow with everything going on. So I'm not saying that it's impossible for the Clippers to win this game. The Clippers definitely have professionals. They definitely have great coaching. They have the coaching edge in this game. But just from a talent perspective, the Timberwolves are just outpowering them by a lot, and the Timberwolves have the home court advantage. So I suspect that the Timberwolves are going to front run in this game a little bit, make some shots, play with some pace. We know the Clippers want to muck it up, make it a little ugly, but I just don't think that they're going to be able to sustain making the game ugly and dirtying it up for a whole 48. And if they do try to dirty it up, and if the refs are allowing the game to be very physical, there's not many teams that foul more than the Minnesota Timberwolves. Like the Minnesota Timberwolves, whether it's Cat or Patrick Beverley, they foul a lot. They put their hands on players. They get very handsy. So if the refs are letting the game just get like dirty and mucking it up, and they're letting the Clippers play physical, and they let the Timberwolves play physical back, that plays into the Timberwolves' hands in a way, because the Timberwolves play very physical brand of defense. Like it works against them because they get into foul trouble. But if the refs are letting that slide both ways, it helps the Timberwolves because not only is their offense going to be fast-paced, but now their defense can get more stops because they get to play that physical brand, that Patrick Beverley brand of defense that they like to do. So I like the Timberwolves. All boxes are checked. Minnesota Timberwolves -3 official play. Let's cash. And quick little insight on the Brooklyn Nets Cleveland Cavaliers game. I lean towards the Nets. Official lean towards the Nets. I'm not going to put no money on that game. The spread is just a little too high for me. But Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, those are pros. Those are guys who, they're champions at the highest level. They're NBA champions. They're all-time great scorers. So when you have a guy like Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, I think Steve Nash, even though he's not a great coach, he's going to play these guys the entire game if he has to. And I was noticing something in the game flow in the last time that Brooklyn and Cleveland, they played very recently. And in that game, in the first quarter and then in the fourth quarter, when the Nets were locked in, the Nets were whooping the Cavs' ass. It was in the second and third quarter when the Nets were playing more rotation players and when they were easing up a little bit that the Cavs were able to cut into that deficit a little bit. But whenever the Nets put their foot on the gas, the Nets were just dogging that team out. So I suspect the same thing's going to happen. And because of that, I think there's going to be some low points in the game where maybe Cleveland could fuck around and get close to covering that game or maybe just cover that game because the Nets let their foot off the gas pedal and they play around too much with their food. And -8.5 is a lot of points. But, I think that they're just going to take this game way too serious. And you got Seth Curry and Dragic coming back and all hands will be on deck. I mean, not Ben Simmons, but everyone else will be on board. And the Nets, they're just the better team. And the Cavs, talk about a team that's just falling apart. The Cavs are falling apart. Like, they're not even supposed to be in the play-in tournament. So they're going to lose this game. They're going to fall to the 8th seed. And they're most likely going to play the Hawks. I gotta cap that game and go over it. But they're probably going to end up playing the Hawks. And that's going to be tough for them too. I can see a scenario where the Cleveland Cavaliers don't even make the playoffs. But that's just a lean. Once again, official play, Minnesota Timberwolves, pretty confident. -3, hosting the Los Angeles Clippers. Let's get it.